Welcome back to the Southern TeaPod, where we sip on truth, stir in science, and serve up healing. Today, we're diving into a deeply simple question, deceptively simple question, and that would be, what is learning? Why should we keep at it, and why does it matter so much? Disclaimer. The views expressed in this podcast are personal reflections and content creation creative outlets based on lived experiences. No names or identifying details are shared. And any resemblance to real individuals is just purely coincidental. All content shared is for educational, emotional advocacy, and entertainment purposes only. Listener discretion is advised. Learning isn't just about facts. Learning is the process of acquiring knowledge, skills, values, and possibilities. It's not just about memorization, it's about evolving. Whether through study, teaching, or lived experience, learning reshapes how we see ourselves and the world. Let's look at learning from a neuroscience aspect. Neuroplasticity is your brain's superpower. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change and adapt. Every time you learn something new, your brain rewires itself. It's not a metaphor, guys, it's literal. Neural pathways form, old ones fade, and your brain becomes more efficient, resilient, and capable. So this means that healing is possible, growth is possible, and change, it's not just a dream, it's a biological reality. When we look at the difference between someone who is a fixed mindset, it says, I am who I am. That's that. Versus a flexible mindset of, I am becoming, I am growing. How do I get there? And let's make the steps that are possible. That's a goal, quote unquote, a goal getter. The difference is that one keeps you stuck and stagnant. I am who I am. That's that. And the other one keeps you curious, open, and empowered. Flexibility isn't just a trait, it's a tool for happiness. When we believe we can grow, we are more likely to take risks, recover from setbacks, and find meaning in the process. Why flexibility fuels happiness? Well, happiness isn't found in perfection, it's found in progress. A flexible mindset allows us to embrace uncertainty, adapt to change, and find joy in learning itself. It's the antidote to shame, stagnation, and self-doubt. And it's deeply tied to emotional regulation, resilience, and purpose. Continued learning is continued liberation. Knowledge is power. When you look at various individuals who have been isolated or kept in seclusion, and they're not allotted the same ability to learn as others, it makes it to where it's easier to control them. Knowledge is power, and it's more than that, it's freedom. In my human services degree, we studied cultures where access to education was deliberately withheld to keep the populations ignorant and even some parts of those populations enslaved. It followed, a case study followed a young girl who was pulled out of school to become a part of the working class. When people are denied the tools to think critically, they're easier to control. That's not just historical, that is a psychological warfare. When education is reintroduced, the people began to learn again. Their sense of agency, dignity, and hope returned. That's the power of learning. It's not just personal, it can even be political. Why should we keep at learning? Why should you continue to adapt your mind, open your eyes, and even if you are a part of a belief system, allow yourself to potentially hear another side of a different story, or to be open to a different belief system, or to understand why someone would choose what they've chosen. It's because every time you learn, you are claiming a new piece of yourself. Every time that you choose to open up and allow in new information, you're giving yourself a new piece of your identity. Why should we keep at it? Because our brains are wired for growth. I get it. For some people, they're satisfied. But are you happy? Are you truly joyful? Have you found the thing that sets your soul on fire and keeps you playing in life, that keeps you giddy when you wake up and your feet hitting the floor in the morning with a bounce in your step? Healing, it requires a new knowledge, new tools, and new growth. And staying curious is how we stay free. Those are the main reasons why we should continue to grow. The human mind was not made to sit stagnant. When we open up our minds to see that the vulnerable aspect of life is when you do not have as much knowledge as someone else, you're responsible. When you are higher educated, you're taking on a responsibility. When you are more experienced, you're taking on a responsibility. You don't really see in restaurants a first day server hitting the floor, having no clue what they're doing, and not having someone to train them. They're typically going to have someone who is experienced to show them the ropes, to at least teach them how to roll silverware right, like to shine the glasses. Like, I remember when I was bartending and serving, there was a girl who taught me that you always get a cup of soda water and you put your silverware in that cup of soda water, then you dry it off and then you roll it, because if not, you're going to have water stains on it. It also helps to clean off the rest of the soap scum. Because, yeah. Anyway, I remember that I had been serving for actually a good amount of time at that point and bartending, and I didn't know that. And when she taught me that, I was just like, how long have you been at this? And she's like, 15 years. I was like, oh, girl, you got a lot more time on me. Knowledge. Sharing our knowledge with others. I love being able to pass on information to other people, to encourage others. And I will be your biggest cheerleader and your biggest hype person ever, because the better that you become, the better that I become, the better that we become. And if we're constantly in a cycle of growth where I'm learning more, you're learning more, we're becoming wiser and more educated, that means that like, it's not just a smarter thing, because you can have street smarts, you can open up a book, but when you truly learn, truly educate, and truly like seek out knowledge, you're going to adapt your perception of reality into so much more than what it would have been out of stagnation. Go forth and claim every beautiful piece of yourself. Go forth and be the best version of yourself. If you were looking for a sign from the universe to enroll in college, go do it right now. Go do it. I'll be your sign. To grow from whatever experience, or to heal from whatever, to add new tools and new truth to your box, and to allow yourself that curiosity, that childlike curiousness that keeps us playing and keeps children learn at such a rapid pace because they are so curious. They don't think that they know everything about the world, because the world is such a big place and it's so much bigger than they are. They are learning how to talk, how to walk, how to eat, how to do all of these things. And the beautiful part of it is, a child will tell you, yeah, I know. And then They'll look at you and be like, I know. And they're really telling you, now I know. When you say, hey, did you know? And they'll be like, well, now I know. That's usually what it means. So be curious, be open minded. There is nothing wrong with with routine. There's nothing wrong with structure. There's nothing wrong with having a sense of self and knowing who you are. Whenever we say like I am who I am and that's that, it's not saying to deny your personality traits. It's saying to adapt. I'm saying to adapt and grow into a better version of I am who I am. That's not just that. I am becoming an even better version of what you see. So what you see, what I see, they're very different things because I know who I am becoming. I know my goals for myself. I know my plans. And I also know that there's somewhere in between where me and Big Man upstairs are going to always have like my plans, my goals, and his actuality that happens. But I got to put the footwork down there when I am convicted to take it an extra step. I don't just sit there and ruminate and reminisce in the ideology of something. I have to put the practicality to it. So I can want, wish, and pray all I want, but I will not become until my feet hit the ground. So every single morning, my feet are going to hit the ground like I chose to wake up today because I did. God has me here for a reason, for a purpose. And while I understand some do not believe in God, you're here for a reason, you're here for a purpose. And you make choices when your feet hit the ground to get closer to your goal or further away by sitting still. Your goal, think of it this way, it's constantly moving. And if you sit here, you're never going to reach it. You got to get up. You got to get moving. You cannot sit still in that stagnation. You can, actually. You're just not going to live the happiest life that you could. Let me rephrase that. Claim who you are in your most epic potential of self. Continue learning and growing, becoming and being more and more who you're meant to be. The person that you see in the mirror is one action away from who you envision yourself to be. And if you don't have a vision for yourself, sit down and write it out. Who am I? Who do I want to be? And how do I become them? Even the trees shed their leaves and get new. Nothing stays the same. I hope that you all stay curious. I hope that you all stay grounded. And I hope that this week you put into action the things that you've always wanted to become, the person that you've always wanted to become. Putting one foot in front of the other. I wish all of you that happiness because there's so much happiness in accomplishment. There's so much happiness in not letting yourself down. So go do something that truly ties into the becoming of you. That's why we keep learning. You're constantly getting to know yourself. You're constantly getting to figure out your own wants, wills, whims, wishes, whatever W that you want to throw out there. And through that, if you decide today in 5 minutes, you know what? It's not who I was. Not who I was 5 minutes ago. I am this version of myself, whatever the quote unquote this is. Go be them fearlessly, relentlessly, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. All right, let's give a shout out as a brand ambassador to Comfort Brand. Go on to comfrt.com/. The Southern Teapot. I don't really have any other housekeeping notes. I would love to hear what you guys want to hear from me.